So 7 students count from 1 to 1,000 as follows. Alice says all of the numbers except she skips the middle number in each consecutive group of numbers. That is, Alice says 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9, 9 all the way up to 1,000. Barbara says all of the numbers that Alice doesn't say, except she also skips the middle number in each consecutive group of 3 numbers. Candace says all of the numbers that neither Alice nor Barbara say, except she also skips the middle number in each consecutive group of 3 numbers. D, E, and F say all of the numbers that none of the D, E, and F have similar definitions as like A, B, and C. So basically, Debbie says all of the numbers that A, B, and C haven't said, except she doesn't say the middle numbers. And same with Eliza with A, B, C, D, and same with Fatina for A, B, C, D, E. And then finally, George says the only number that no one else says. What number does George say? Okay, so what's the way to go about this? Well, the first thing you notice is that it's really hard. It's going to get very hard to keep track of what everyone does say. So instead of that, we keep track of what everyone doesn't say. So what doesn't Alice say? What doesn't she say? Well, she says the numbers which aren't the middle number in each consecutive group of 3 numbers. So that means Alice doesn't say all of the numbers which are congruent to 2 mod 3. Right? Because if you look at this list, she's missing 2 and she's missing 5 and she's missing 8. She's missing all of the numbers which are congruent to 2 mod 3. And now we can just keep going with this. What don't Alice and Barbara say? Yeah, what isn't said? What? This is weird grammatically. What doesn't either? Okay, yeah, what don't Alice or Barbara say? Like, which numbers aren't said by either of them? Well, firstly, it's gonna be a subset of the stuff that what Alice doesn't say. So the stuff that Alice doesn't say is all the numbers congruent to 2 mod 3. But then Barbara takes those numbers and she says all of them except for the middle number. So it's gonna be like 2, 5, 8, 11, 14, 17. And then Barbara doesn't say the middle ones. So these. And then, so firstly, 5 is the smallest number that Barbara doesn't say. And then the gap between the numbers that she doesn't say is 9, because there's a gap of 3 things. It's a group of 3. So 3 times the gap that there already was of 3. So the numbers that aren't said by Alice or Barbara are of the form congruent to 5 mod 9. And then we just keep going. What don't A or B or C say? Well, it's going to be congruent to 14 mod 27. Because the things that aren't said by A or B are of the form 5, 14, 23, mod 27. Yeah, the things that aren't said by A or B are the numbers 5, 14, and 23, mod 27, and then C says all of them except for the middle one. So she says everything except for the 14 mod 27. And then what about not spoken by A or B or C or D? Then the ones that aren't said by A or B or C are 14, 41, and 58. Mod 81, and so D says all of them except for the middle. set of each group. So this is 41 mod 81. And then not spoken by A or B or C or D or E is going to be, so it just becomes a lot of computation. So then so the numbers spoken are not spoken by A through D are 41, 122, 203, mod 243, and then E says all of them except for the middle one. So it's 122, mod 243. And then finally, the ones not spoken by A or B all the way up to F is, so the one, you take this group of 122, 365, and 608, I think. And then the one not spoken by any of them through A through F is the numbers 365, mod 729. And so now we're basically done. Oh, we're done. So the numbers not said by A or B or C or D or F is the set of numbers congruent to 365 mod 729. And then that set of numbers is 365, and then 365 plus 729, which is greater than 1,000, which means that the only number that George has left to say is 365.